Hello, good evening. Happy Sunday. Nice to see people with us again here today. So today I've got a few things to show you that are going to be disappearing at some point while stocks last. So I've picked a few items off the shelf. I'm going to be doing another live tomorrow night. Or sometime during the day tomorrow, with some other products that you might want to just grab your get your hands on before they disappear. I've pulled out a few that I think are really, really good value that are significantly reduced that I thought I might like to just showcase with you. Just put my chin down the bottom there. So I'm going to be doing that, but I've got a bit of a fancy fold that's a bit of a combination of two. And I've not done this fold before, so I thought, well, if I try it out with you, I'm going to be showing where I've got the source from as well. So let me just get that down there, that one there, and me in the corner, and there we go. So happy Sunday. I've been out today. I've been over. David and I went out on the motorbike today. Not the best day of the week to do it. We've had some glorious weather, and yeah, it's been okay. It's been cold, so that's the main thing. But it's been a few little light showers, but we've been good. So this is the old catalogue. I can still show you everything in here. So one of the things I really want to go to first is these are the 5 in colours that are disappearing. I've been showcasing some of the new ones, but these 5 here are the 5 that are going to be disappearing. So there are good savings on those. Where did I just put everything? Here. So I pulled those off the shelf. It's ringing. Sorry about that. Like there's somebody's just hit a ring in a group, and that's not what this is for. So these are the 5 colours that are going to be saying goodbye. So if any of these are ones that you fancy, you want to get hold of, then please just make sure that you do shout. If you want me to pop anything through, the last chance to get these is going to be, well, they are going to be while stocks last, I'm pretty sure. But the old catalogue technically finishes on Monday night. Okay, the new one will go live on Tuesday. Okay, so they're key dates for you. So beyond basically anything that is on last chance is while stocks last, and some things might just disappear completely. So if in doubt, please shout and I will find out for you what your particular item is. But I might go live tomorrow and actually walk through the catalogue. I will go through and mark up some of the things you might not like to know. Okay, so these 5 colours, so I thought I might play with those tonight, depending on what I'm going to play with. I don't know what papers, I haven't got anything out yet, so I'm going to be using those. But I'm going to be working on, in fact, I think I'll work with the Pebble Path as my base. So what I kind of want to do is to work with I've done a Dutch barn fold before now, and not for a long while, but I've done it in a normal, a tent size. So when we have the card this way on, hinged here, and then the flaps come round and the top section will sit on it. This is a little bit differently. You would love the inks and the pens of the retired colours. Okay, Linda, I will make a note of those on the back here. I'll look in the comments later. That'll probably be the best way. So what I'm looking at doing here is having the middle section of the card here, the width of what I want. So I'm going to grab a ruler and a pencil, and we'll just do some workings out. So I need to have our card is 14. Let me just grab. Have I got one handy? Near and handy. Look. Here's one. A few weeks ago we did this one, didn't we? So my card base size is this size here is 14.85, and then 10.5 here. Okay, so this is the. Hi Lynn. Hi Linda. Hi another Linda. Hi Marilyn. I don't think I missed anybody before that. There we go. So I'm looking at having this size card in the centre. So this is our tent style that we've used before, and a Dutch barn would mean that the flap would come around this side and meet in the middle, so like doors that come together in the centre. Now I want to do this as a landscape card, so I'm going to measure half of this would then be 7.4. So I'm actually going to take this in 7.4 from each side, and I'm going to score it down. Okay, that's my start point. I had some post-it notes here. I'm going to teach you a tip with post-it notes. So they are an important part of our craft stash. So if we go from each side here at 7.4, okay, I want this to come down to, let me say, what am I going to do up from here? But to be about 5 centimetres is 2 inches. So what I'm going to do here is have 5 centimetres up from the bottom. I want to just put a little dot, so I'm going to score this down here. I'm going to score down at 7.4 because it's going to, cut down 7.4, but what I want to do is actually to stop it at the bottom at about 5 centimetres. So if I measure up that line to be 5 centimetres up here, okay, and I'm going to place the bottom of my post-it note. We are hoping that this is going to work. We're going to put my post-it note on the one there, the 0. So that's where I want to stop it. So we'll go this way actually. So if I mark that where it's going to be at 5 centimetres. In fact, this is probably a 2-inch post-it note if I'm really lucky. Just test that out. Yes, it is. Okay, so if you've got a 2-inch post-it note, it's going to be your 5 inches anyway. So what I'm going to do, I am going to cut, I'm going to place this on my 7.4, and I'm going to cut all the way down as far as this little marker on here wants to be level with my post-it note. Okay, so I can see that line there. You won't see that engraved line on the camera, but I want to just go down to that far there. Okay, now I'm going to repeat it the other end. Okay, so I've got a sticky post-it and I'm going to turn it around. I want to do the 7.5 still, but I need to use it on that side. So I've just turned it around. We're going to do it upside down. So 7.4, we're going to put the sticky end of the post-it note so it's not going to move, and I'm going to put that to the edge of the card, just there. And I know that's going to be 2 inches or 5 centimetres. So I'm going to do the same as I did here, and I'm going to cut down that side. Okay, as far as this little line's going to go level with the post-it note, just in there. Okay, that's perfect there and perfect there. Okay, so that's a good start. Then this way, I want to score it in the middle to make this centerpiece a tent fold. So I'm going to line this up on 10.5. Okay, and I'm going to line this little one up here with the cut mark here and then the cut mark there. If you can't see that on there, then it's good just to put that post-it note again, so you know you can mark. We could reuse those two actually, but if I leave these on, it'll be easier for you and anyone seeing on playback to know they mustn't score beyond that point. Okay, so post-it notes really handy in your stash. So this is where I want to score between. So I'm going to have that little engraved line on the side there, and I'm going to come all the way up to that little mark there in the middle. Okay, so that should be my pieces intact. These pieces here, where I've stopped that post-it note, they want to be cut away. So finish with those two. Put them back on the pad for later. So these ones here, we actually want to cut those away now. We've cut down as far as that, but we want those two pieces to be out. Okay, so we can do the 5 centimetres on there, and we're going to cut down to that edge there. And again, I'm going to move this so that I can see where you can't see my mark on here, but I'm just going to mark that, put that post-it note where that line is, and I'm going to cut down on the 5 centimetres as far as that line there. I'm kind of making a bit of a T shape really, so that's that one done. And then this one, take that away, and we're going to do the same this side. So we could just turn this over. So this is going to be my hinge section in the middle, and then this we want to cut down on the 5 centimetres, but we're going to be stopping here. Okay. And again, we haven't got the 5 centimetres on the right hand side there, so I'm going to do it from here. Okay, line this up on 5 centimetres at the top, 5 centimetres at the bottom. We could actually have done that all in one go. So So it's lined up there. Could have done it both together. Okay, up from the bottom to there. Okay, so when you do it at home, you're going to do it up there and there. You could do it all at the same time. So this will just come away. If you're not quite snipped into the corner, I'll just grab a pair of snips. Oh, lovely, Linda. Nice glass of Pimm's. Shame you haven't got the sunshine and the weather to sit outside on the patio or decking or something and sip that. So these two here, this one's going to be folded over. So where my score line is, I'm going to fold that one over. That will be my tent card. Grab a bone folder, my twirly stand. So that's that one. And then here, we are going to leave this on the trimmer and we're going to score those. It's going to wrap round into the centre. So we'll just continue those lines down here. Get the cutting blade out of the way and just score that there. And then do the same. Continue this line here on that track and score it up there. Okay. So we've ended up with a bit of a T shape, or just a whatever shape you'd have that. Yeah, an upside down T. And this is going to come across the top, and then these are going to come around the sides. Okay, so we're going to wrap those in. We want that to wrap around the outside, so I've got a little bit of extra room there. It's a good judge to bring those in, but it's going to be hidden underneath. Okay, so it's going to come like so. Hope that all makes sense. I'm just going to zoom that in a little bit bigger for you because you kind of seem to be a bit distant from the camera. There we go. So there is our finished card. Okay, so a Dutch easel card would fold. It will stand on these legs here. So these two will stand at the side, and this will come down to sit on the flap on the top. It can be as open, as deep, or as open as you want it to be, and that will just stand. It's a bit like having an angle, an easel sort of type card. So you can see from the end view that's going to stand like so. Okay, hope that all makes sense. So we're going to start on, I'm going to start with the liner actually, because it's going to make, put a white layer on here on the inside. So we're going to have a layer to write on, but I'm also going to have a contrast colour as well. So I'm going to put today, I love my two favourite colours. I like the Wild Wheat and I like the Pebble Path. So I'm going to cut it for this one. So my standard for a liner is 13.8 by 9.5. Okay. Now, if we cut another layer at 9.5 as well, I'm going to have one on the front, and I'm going to reverse the layers. So I'm going to have one on the front like so. I'm going to have one inside, and I'm going to make the inside one slightly smaller for a white layer to write on. And then this way, I'm going to have, this is the front, and a little white layer, slightly bigger. Okay, so hope you're keeping up with me. So take a piece of the white card and cut this. So I've done the liner to 13.8, so I want half a centimetre less. So I'm going to go, yeah, I'll go 0.3. There. That way. And then this way was 9.5, so I'm going to go down to 9. Okay, so that should, oh, no, that wasn't quite, was it? Oh, I think I miscalculated there. So my 13.8, this way. Did I do 13.8? Yes, 13.8. I'm going to do 13.5. I think I went a little bit too less. Okay, and then this one was my 9.5, so I want to go down to 9. All that fresh air has got to me, look, today. So that's for our liner. So that's going to go together, and that will be for writing on for our sentiment inside. And then this one, I want to be slightly bigger, I think. This is my a layer there, but because we're going to texturize this or decorate this, I want it to be slightly, just a few millimeters bigger than this. So let's go to the 13. We said hi, Pam. Did I miss Pam? Hello, Pam, if you're there. comments might be a little bit slow this evening. So I've got that 13.8. I'm going to go 14.13.8. I'm going to go 14.1 on that one. Let's cut into another layer. 14.1. It's going to be 3 millimeters bigger, which will just make it enough just to give it a little tiny little lift. And 9.5, so I'll go 9.8. Yeah, those pieces I cut off, they all have a use. So just a tiny little bit of a border on there, like so. So that's going to come on the front. Just reversing those will give it the space to write on, but still bring the colours through. And then I'm going to put those there. These ones will sit on inside. So then these ones want to have little pieces on here. So let's make a note of the measurements on that. Where have I put my ruler? So because they're going to be covered up, don't be afraid to write on them. Hi Pam, I can see you now. You are now. So I've got this is 7.4 I cut it to. So I'm going to go 7.4, come 3 under that. I'm going to go 7.1. And then this way will be, it was 5 centimeters, so I'm going to do that one as by 5.2, so 3 mils under what the sizes were. And then I want to do the 3 mils down again, so this is going to be 4.9, and then 7.1 will become 6.8. okay, because I've written those on there. They're going to be covered up, so please don't worry that they need rubbing out or anything like that. So my spare pieces here, I'm going to have 2 because I'm going to do one each side. So I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go 7.1. I'll do that one here. 7.1. There. And then it's going to be 5.2 this way. So 5.2. Just check that for sizes. Oh, maybe not 5.2. No, it won't be 5.2, will it? Because I was 5 centimeters. Let's just rub those out. My 4.9 was right. So 4.9. 5 centimeters. I want 3 mils after that. 4.7 is that one, not this one, and then 4.4. 3 mils down and 3 mils down. At least it's good this way because I can just trim instead of having to add it back on. Let's see how that looks. There we go, that's perfect size. So I need 2 of those. So 4.7. There we go, and test that one. That's one each side, and then the yellow ones are going to be 6.8. 6.8. Put all of those out of the way, and 4.4. So going to cut this at 8.8. Cut 2 together. 8.8, then 4.4. They were nice numbers. Okay, so these should fit nicely on there. With a small little border. That's going to be perfect. There we go. Had a job getting on? Is Facebook playing up? Marilyn was just getting her gin and tonic. That's lovely. I did have a small glass of wine actually tonight. David had some wine there, so I had a small glass. I don't drink that much wine these days, but it's just handy. So I fancied one of those. So there we are at the moment. I'm going to go and grab the embossing folders, and I'm just going to texturize something on there, and then we'll work out how we're going to decorate it. Ladies, you have decision time. We have a decision. Good morning, Down Under. Good morning, New Zealand. I am. So I tend to be having my favourites on the embossing folders. So please shout and decide what you would like to see today. Exposed brick or forever plaid. I'm sorry, but these are starting to curl a little bit up on my plates there. So I'm going to adhere these down on there, and these ones are going to go on the front. Okay, so this is going to be texturized first, the yellow. Take all these out. So for this, we don't need the shim. We take the shim away, and so we've just got the base plate number 1 and the embossing plate number 4. What shall I go with? I am going to go this one again. Haven't had any votes come in, so I will just use this one for goodness. Okay. Oh, plaid. Just got there, Linda. Just in the nick. You were the first, so plaid it is. Now, I showed you before how to do these on a crisscross, didn't I? They don't have to be actually straight plaids. You can have them at any angle you want them to be. So I'm going to put this one. Oh, look. Now you're upsetting the apple cart. Linda was first, so I've got the plaid in there. So I'm just showing you how, instead of having it square on or square on the other way, you can actually put it crisscross, so you can actually get your crisscrossed pattern on there. I think I've done this once for you already, but let's have another go through. The exposed brick is my ultimate all-time favourite, so you've probably seen that one a lot more than this one. So there's my plaid, but on the H. Okay, so it's a bit crooked, it's slanty. So, but we're going to do the other 2 little pieces as well, the little ones on the small gates. So I'll put that back in the folder and do those at a similar sort of angle, like so. That one goes in first, and this one comes down. And shake those out, put that on the floor. Take those out of there. And then let's get sticking. Which of these is the heaviest? So let's start. You start from the inside, I think. I would normally gut this out from the centre. If I've got anything on the table, I might. If not, then we'll just... Oh, we could actually. Okay, we'll do these ones on the front first. So I'm going to adhere these together. I won't gut through the middle. I have so many white scraps. I'm not going to gut those ones. Okay. So gutting, anyone who's not aware of the gutting, I've not done it recently. So we don't like to waste card. So we have a whole sheet of card here. All I'm doing is sandwiching it in the middle. So if you wanted to, you could cut some images from here and set them aside to use on another project. So what I like to do with these is something like a rectangle die with a border on it. Then they're really nice ones to do because you can maximize what you're actually achieving from that, and then that will sit on another project. Okay, I'm not doing the white today. Like I say, I have so many white scraps. It's silly. So that's going to go on the front there. Okay, very little of the Tombow. Just a thin little bead around the outside, a little scribble or a dot in the middle. Okay, and that's going to sit in here, like so. And straight away, our card is quickly coming together. Okay, that's that one. Then these ones are going to come together the same as well. So the 2 white ones and the 2 yellows. There is a right and a wrong to your embossing. There's a flat side, so make sure you get those right. And come down there. So under there. I haven't made a Dutch barn fold for ages, but I've certainly never done the landscape one. So this was just a working it out as we went. Okay, so these are on the flaps that are going to come inside. So I'm covering those up. So I'll just read those out. 7.1 by 4.7 for the white, and then 6.8 by 4.4 for the wild wheat. Okay, because it's a dark surface, if you just hold that over something white, you can see that it's definitely into the centre, which is good. A little bit of glue on there. Press those down firmly. Okay. Embossing folder. Just wanted to press on the edge to firm down that one and firm down that one. Put these two together. Adhesive on the flats, the indented side. Slide that a little bit more. The Tombow, the green multi-purpose adhesive, is my favourite adhesive because you've just got that wiggle room, so when you're popping it down, if it's not quite in the right place, you can just slide it very small amount. And also, just a tip to remind you, is I had somebody do this recently. If you say you've put it on in the wrong place, or upside down, for instance, on a card, you know, if that was on this side instead of there, or the inside, you can actually reheat. If you just use a heat tool and you gently heat from the back, it will soften the glue. As long as you work fairly fast, it will soften the glue that you've just freshly put down, and it will enable you to lift that off. Even if you have to use a different card, you can use the back side of that for something else. So it's a good one to have. Literally just work quickly and jump on a heat tool, and then that will you can save that card. Okay, so we're looking like a card now. We've just got this inside to deal with. So put the lid on, and then this one. This is going to be the inside of my card. I've done it in reverse. So what we can do is a little tiny piece. I did it the other day, I think. A small piece of this can be embossed. So you can just put some texture down there. So we'll start by doing that. We're just going to pop this into the edge, or the bottom actually. This card might look nice coming across the bottom. Okay. So you can position this on here where you like the pattern to be. So I want to be fairly even either side, if I can. So there's a double run there and a double run there. So if I get in between those, you've got the lines here straight to make sure that you're embossing it flat. But I'm straight away going to stop myself because that's now going to be too wide to go through your embossing folder. Okay, so you're going to have to use the end. Okay, so just come along here and just take the piece off the end there that you want to see on your card. Okay, so I've got a little bit along there. I can see there's a line. Just going to pop that there. Okay, and if you want to be sure you're getting it in the right place, what you can do if you've got it easily to hand is just put some tape on there. I haven't got it out at the moment, so I'm just going to whiz this through. So I'm gripping this firmly here, and I want it to stay on the mat. So the whole piece of this wants to stay on the mat. Check your lining. Sorry, can you see that all right? So check your lining is nice and straight. So the embossed line I can see on there. And then place this over the top. Okay, it will only emboss the thickness where it's the right sandwich. It won't do the piece that falls off the bottom. Okay. So there is my piece. It's just coming out. So that's just got a little piece coming along there like so. It's just to add a little bit of detail. And then we'll put this away and we'll bring the cutting plates back. So we have the shim, and we have, I said this was off another machine, an old machine. I'm waiting on some new clear ones to come in. So I'm going to just take some Impressions of Bloom. This is one of the online exclusives. So I'm going to take some of the flowers in here and cut those from our matte layer so we don't waste this. All you're going to leave free is the outside edge here. Okay, so I like to do our little flowers. I'll do that one done these before, so you've seen me use these. Because we're just cutting the insides, we're just going to use whatever we can fill the gap with. Okay. And then there's, this one was that direction. Just going to make sure they're lined up. I don't think they are. That goes in there. I can see where it goes. In there. So as long as we've got 3 of those stems, that will be fine. We've got some more middles of some layers. So this is what our gutting is. A really tiny piece to go in the middle of that one. So these are middles for flowers, and we've got 3 flowers there as well. So we're just cutting those out. All the outside edges are nice and free, so we can just cut those away and use those on something else. Or in this case, it might be the front of the card. Okay. I'm just going to take those out. And that one, and that one. That little piece is very, very valuable. I'm just going to put that away straight away. And those ones. Okay, leave those ones in a little pile there. Get rid of this. And then we can come back to this to put our layers on. So we'll stick those together, and nobody's going to be any the wiser. If you like, I don't particularly like this edge here that just disappears into nothing because of what it is. So I think I'd like to have a little narrow strip on here. So even 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, something very small. There would be nice. Just cut that little piece off. And then we can do a little piece of decoration. It's easier to stick decoration on before you stick it to the card because we only want to put it on the white layer. Okay, so it's just going to come across there. Just trim that down very slightly. Paper snips. We don't want to put glue all the way down if we don't need it. Just gets in a sticky mess. Hold that in my tweezers. Just run this down the back. Are you all keeping up with me? It's just a different shape fold, that's all. Okay, so again, if you place this on your grid sheet, we do sometimes sell the paper grid sheets, or if you've got a cutting mat like me, you can actually just bring that on there and make sure that you've got the same distance either side. I want to go up slightly. Just slide that along. Press it down. And then we can trim off the ends from the back. There, and a tiny little piece there. Okay, that's going to go on those on the table. And that'll fit in the middle of there. So once the card's built, it's a lot easier to work. Okay, I've put glue on there, but if I place that down on here, because I've got holes in it, it's gonna go onto my mat. So I'm gonna stick this one down first, into the center of the back. Nice and central. And now this one can go down. The glue will go through those holes. Nice and even, and that's where you're going to write your greeting. There's your little doors, and then this one's coming down there. Okay, because it's gone around the outside of the card, it won't quite meet in the center there. That's not an issue because it's not going to stay together anyway. It's only for posting, so you're going to have those together, and then it's going to stand like so, proud. Okay, so that's all the inside done. Now we're just going to decorate the actual front of the card. Like to be nice and crisp, so I'm going to take these out of here. I've mislaid my my take your pick tool with the brush on the end of it. Okay, so I'm just going to use a fingernail just to pop those out. There we go. This one. This one. Putting these straight back on my magnets because there's some small pieces here, and if you don't put them straight back on the magnets you can lose things. I'm just going to leave those over there out of the way. We might use some, we might not. Okay, so now to decide what we'd like to put on here. I want to start with a greeting because I want a nice big greeting on here, and I'm thinking this set here is a newish one for me, but it's a good one of for filling spaces. So this one for tonight, because we've been busy on making the fancy fold, I'm going to put the happy birthday on this one. It's going to fit in the middle. A bit of plastic on that one. Let me put that in a bit. Okay, it's going to fit on there nicely. So I'm just going to grab a block, and I will grab my wild wheat ink pad as well. In fact, no, we'll do that one in black. No, I'll use the Pebble Path, I think. Behind me. Tripping over the machine there. So I'm going to stamp this one on here, just place that in the centre. And a piece of the white that we've got here, we can trim that one down. So I'm going to, whoa, just a wee bit narrow. So I'm going to stamp that way into the corner. While I was away from the desk, I also got some lemon lolly out because these two go nicely together. So that's going to be my contrast today. So Pebble Path, that's also going to be finishing. Sadly, this is one of my favourites. I'm going to get this as near as I can to the corner, and we're going to trim it down. Nice and straight. Pressing firmly. There we go. I'm going to do that one again just because I think that looks a little bit bubbly on there. It is a scratchy surface. If you look at the image on here, it is like this texturized, so it is lots of lines over each other. So that is actually quite a good likeness. It's got the gaps, but we're so used to seeing a solid stamped image, we expect it to be solid. So that is actually correct. Pop that one away. Pop that one away, and just trim this down. No precise measurements, I'm just going to take it to a little tiny gap each side like this one is. So sort of kind of matching that piece. Sometimes it's easier to see when you've got the track down. So that's going to go up there. And then the same here, just a little bit either side. So the B comes down a little bit lower, so I'll take that off there. Like the big greetings, yes, I know they have a very good place, don't they? Now this one I'd like to take a little shaving off the top there, but if you take too small a gap coming off the slidey trimmer, it will just buckle a little bit, or the knife blade will take it and it can just tear it a little bit. So I'm just going to get the mini trimmer. A lot of you that follow me are local, or the local ones especially, have actually seen my studio. My tables are my 8 class tables around the middle of the desk. The desks here are in the middle of the room. So whereas demonstrators you see have everything within reach behind them, Mine aren't. Mine are on the wall quite a way away, or the drawers on the end of the desk. So that's why I have to walk so far to get my materials. So I'm just trimming that down a little bit further, and that's going to come down there nicely. That can go away. So remember, this is a landscape card because of our Dutch barn doors here. And then this is going to go on here. Now I think we could have a tiny layer of the pebble path on here. So we had these pieces that we cut off. Can you remember where these came from? Up here. Okay, so we like to be thrifty, and we've got these pieces here. So we're now going to use a piece of that to map that greeting. So it's just going to come around there. Now, one of my favourites I've been using a little bit lately is just eyeballing. So if I put a little pencil mark where I want that to be, that matches up this side, and a little pencil mark here that matches up where I want it to be that side, we can now cut those two pieces away. So just find that little pencil mark, pop it on this cutting edge, so I can see right there, that's the point. And then the same this way, this little dot here, make sure it's on that cutting line, perfectly straight at the top, straight down here, and guillotine that away, and we're good. So that should be identical. If you still have any pencil marks on the front, it's quite easy, just flip it over and use the back. There we go, down those edges, a little bit in the middle. And then just to decorate this, we're simply going to add some flowers on here. How are we time-wise? We're good. There we go. So I'm going to place this one on some foam pads, which are Stampin' Dimensionals I've got to the side. I'm still trying to use up some of these bits and edges. So there's some little ones in there. Take them off as I go. Now, while I remember, I won't be live. I very much doubt I'll be live with you on Wednesday. If it is, it might be a little bit later than the 9 o'clock. I'm taking part next week in if any of you close to Norwich and you want to come and see me, I think Linda might be joining us for the second session. I'm taking part in an event called March Static. It's I haven't been to the first rehearsal is on Tuesday, but I'll be at rehearsals Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the performance is on Friday. So it's an Australian themed, like it's a wind and percussion group, and it's the first of its kind in the UK. So it's something a little bit different. And I'm actually going to I've listed all the instruments that I played, and they actually came back to me and asked me to do surprise saxophone. So I'm going to be playing the soprano sax. There will be some footage and video footage and things like that. So I will share when I get my hands on a copy. So this is, so I won't we'll be around to be live. Depending on what time it finishes, I might make it, but I will put and post up in the group on my phone, so that I can feed back to you. I think I only want that size really. These ones are a little bit big for the card now. Let that one go. I'm going to do some in the lemon, just as a contrast. And then we're nearly finished. Then I can run through some of the bargains that are... Let's see where I put the plate. Clear plate. It's here somewhere. What did I do with it? There it is. This one. So yes, I will let you know. But at the moment, I'm playing it by ear because I don't really know what the timings are going to be like. So to put one of those on there. I like the middles, so I'm going to put the little one on there. Now, I'm a bit concerned that I didn't to be missing one off. Oh, it's hidden under there. That's the size I want. That's the little one. Okay. Not quite on. Not quite lined up. It is exciting. It's yeah. I need to take some. We all have instrument lies on our instruments just for the march card size. The music's being provided, and I need to take a set of earphones, like the old-fashioned earphones you get with a jack. So we're going to have a little transformer clip on our waistbands, I think, and then we'll have instructions, and it will be meandering round, and they will be giving us verbal instructions through the earpiece. So I've never done anything like that before, so I'll tell you all about it afterwards, but it's going to be very, very different. So if anybody gets lost in the music, the cues will be there and they'll come through the earpiece, none of which the audience will hear. So yes, it's a little bit different. So if I do 2 of those flowers, one of each colour, if you can see those, I've got the dark on the light and the light on the dark. But I feel I need another 3rd one down here. So let's just do one of those. We have space on here. One there. I like to keep these together, but I didn't do it on this one. Widest piece be there. It's just to put a little bit of texture on it. It's not really going to make a difference. As long as it's not going metal on metal, it's not going to really make a difference. And then I need that tiniest little piece for the other one, the little one, which is here. The fingers and thumbs, look. Okay. I need to turn him over. I'm just going to use the take pick tool to turn him over. There we go. And the plate. Depends on what time you leave off, Angela. You could actually come and join us. You could come and see it. And Linda's going to be there for the 2nd one. There's going to be one performance is going to be in the Forum in Norwich, and the 2nd performance is going to be a little bit later on, and it's going to be in the cloisters in the cathedral. So it's all very different, and I'm sure I'll find out more on Tuesday when I get to the first rehearsal. They've had a couple, but I haven't been able to get to them. Let's lift that one off there. Onto the magnet. These little tiny pieces are so delicate. Just make sure you keep your eye on them at all times. So I'm just going to put this in my knuckle. You can use the end of the take your pick tool as well onto a mat. I'm going to put those on now straight away, just with some Tombow on the bottom here. And as you know, I like to use another Tombow because it's got the lid already still attached, just easier to hold. Just press that into the centre. Okay, we'll do these 3 first. This is all doing the flying by the seat of my pants again, as you know. One there, and one here. Now, no sparklies are really needed on this one because we're putting the middles in the flowers. If you want to add some sparkle, you can, some gems. Okay, So 3. So I'm just going to turn these over, and I'm going to put a mini dimensional inside. So I tend to find it easier to put them in the middle of the flower and take the backing off. If you try putting it on smaller pieces, they just jump around, they keep moving, whereas it's anchored down here, so it's not going to get in your way. There we go. And then pick up one of these with your take your pick tool. Could be the right way up. So the dark one's going on the light, dark one onto the light, and light onto the dark. Okay, and instantly that then just comes to life, doesn't it? So that's the card that we've done. I did one similar to this, but not as a fancy fold gatefold. So from the back side, you've got that from the bottom, and it opens up. The doors open, and then you can write your message inside. Oops, a daisy. So on the inside, it opens up like so. The doors open. You write your message on the inside, and when it stands up, it's actually going to stand on those doors there. It's going to sit like so, and then at an angle. So it's going to come out sort of like so. It's not just a flat card. So I thought that was a really nice idea. Hope you've enjoyed that as well. If you want to put some bling on, then feel free. In fact, I could just put some clear gems. Take those off here. I could just put them down here in my signature 3. I like to do these. 1, 2, and 3. The take your pick tool really makes it nice and easy. Make sure they're nicely lined up and press them firmly. There we go. So we have bling on there as well. Okay, so I hope you like that. And then I will just show you some of the offers that are going to be going through. Just because some have been ordered and some are just really fantastic value. The wanted to say dies, I did get those out just to show you as well. Wanted to say dies. These, I have used these quite a lot because they are just so nice. I've got some cut ready that you can see. There's the happy birthday. It's actually a double whammy. So you get an inside and an outside of your sentiments. So that's just some spares that I had in the packet. They would easily go onto a card like that just when you're ready. So they are you get the 2 layers. So I call them innies and outies. So there's happy birthday for the base colour and happy birthday for the words that sit on the top. And then you've got feel better soon, you've got celebrate, and you're too kind. Okay, there's also some little flowers and hearts and stars and things in there as well. Really good value. That's going down from £37. At the moment you could buy that for £14.80. So it is a really good deal. Let's bring it down a little bit on there. Okay, so £37 to £14.80, but they will be while supplies last. Okay, and then some of these are ridiculously cheap as well. These are the Regal foiled adhesive back dots, £8 down to £4.80. Okay, just thinking about the postage, it's not worth people paying postage. If there's something that you're local or I can post on to you, something that's small and flat like the dies or these, then please just let me order them for you and I will just post them on normal Royal Mail. Okay, these faux glass dots here, these are £8 down to £4.80 as well. Beautiful colours, sort of oranges and yellows and greens. These ones are similar, £7.50 down to £5.25, but they've got some beautiful colours in there. I think that's lemon and lime twist, that one. I didn't write the colours down. And these paper accents, I'll just bring these up to the screen because you probably won't see these down there. These were £7.50 down to £3.75. There's a lot of these in a packet. I want to say they're the 5 different sides, and there's several in there, several sheets in there. So these can all be coloured with a sponge dauber, a piece of soft sponge. You can use it on a silicone mat and with the markers, or watercolour with squeeze an ink pad like we've done here. We squeeze these and we get a palette on the inside and we paint with that. There's lots of different ways you can colour them. They are all basic white, So they all come white and they just pop out of the card. Laser cut, beautiful detail. These ones here, £7.50 down to £3.75. There's lots of three colours on there. Sorry, for some reason it hasn't printed the top bit. There is more rows than that. I think there's 5 and 5. And then these ones I've got here to show you. These are the there's 2 lots. There's the pearlized ones at the top, and then you've got the metallics at the bottom. So pearlized is going to be the red, that's pearlized, that's metallics, pearlized, that's the white, and then this one's the black. So pearlized enamel black. So those 3 are in the top batch, and then these 3. So you've got the gold, silver, gold, silver, and copper in the bottom one. But they each set is £7 instead of 14. So they are both half price. Okay. And another one I just want to point out to you was this one as well. The bow punch. I've had a few orders for this already. The bow punch was £23 and it's £11.50. So that's gone down to half price as well. But that's a bit heavier to post if you want that posted on. This one here is our Stampin' Up! Tote bag. There's some dividers in here as well. It used to only be a demonstrator item. It's £47 going down to £32.90. So it's still a pricey one, but if it's something you really love, if you've seen mine about, then and you wanted that for maybe a considered a birthday or gift or something from a relative, then that's a good saving on there as well. So I thought you might like to see that one. Okay, so I will leave that all with you, bring you back to me, take that off and bring you across. So that was a pack tonight, and hope you enjoyed everything. And if there's anything I can do to help, then do give me a shout. Okay, so see you again. I might not see you Wednesday, so brace that might get a message I put up to say not live, unless it's a little bit later on. It would be 9 o'clock on Wednesday, so if I was going to be home by 10, then I'll still go ahead. If not, I will see you on Sunday. So take care, and I might pop on quickly tomorrow with some